Everyone, and welcome to another episode of Radiant Central, and I'm your host Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So over the past week I've done a video series on different remedies, natural remedies for cold and flu, and over the past week I did a video demo showing how to make a healing chicken soup and also how to make a fresh turmeric tonic, and also how to use lemon to clear up a sore throat. And today I want to do a video showing something different, something else, something that doesn't actually involve eating or drinking anything, but involves actually taking a healing bath. Because as much as eating things and drinking things can help to speed up recovery from a cold and flu, what we do with our body and how we treat our body can also help to promote more faster healing and to help get through any kind of sickness. And I find baths to be extremely therapeutic. I think most people can agree with me that not only are they just very relaxing, but they're a great way of just heating up the body, of relieving any kind of congestion, helping open up the air passageways, and also relieving aches and pains. So baths are fantastic when someone's not feeling so well, or they're feeling like they're about to get sick. Taking a bath can actually help to prevent getting sick, or it can help to speed up a recovery. And so I find it's all about what you put in the bath and how the bath can actually be extremely therapeutic. So today I want to share my favorite healing bath recipe. And this just involves two simple ingredients. It involves using Epsom salts and fresh ginger juice, okay? Ginger juice, or just ginger itself, is fantastic for anyone that has a cold or flu or is under the weather, or even just for helping to relieve any kind of congestion or aches and pains, everything. It is an anti-inflammatory, as well as just many therapeutic qualities to ginger. It's a spice pretty much, and anyone knows that when they drink it, it really just opens everything up, and it heats people up from the inside out. So this is not only great when you're sick, but it's also great if you're in colder climate, like in the middle of winter. This is also a fantastic bath to be taking. So the ginger is great, and then the Epsom salts are also just great as an anti-inflammatory, great for aches and pains. They're also good for decongestion, and also they're really good being high in magnesium, which is absorbable through the skin. So the two combined work really well together, and this, I would say, is one of my favorite baths to take when I'm feeling under the weather. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you step by step on how to prepare the ingredients, and then I'm actually going to show you how to prepare the bath. And yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so here are all the tools and ingredients we're going to need for our healing bath. And the first thing we're going to need to do is make ginger juice. And if you have a juicer, this will work. If you don't have a juicer, you can always steep fresh ginger root in hot water, and I would make a tea out of it. So pretty much you would just boil fresh ginger root, slice it up, put it in boiling water, and let it simmer for a good at least 20 minutes to a half an hour. And then the longer you let it sit, the stronger it's going to become. So you can let it sit for a half an hour, you can let it sit for an hour, whatever you want, but that is an alternative. A lot of times people would ask if they can use powdered ginger, and yes, you can. If you go to a store that sells ginger as a spice, and it's 100% pure, you can also use that. But I have to say, I much prefer using the actual fresh ginger juice. And the reason being is that a lot of times spices that are actually sold at the grocery store, health food store, are not always 100% pure. And a lot of times too, they were made a long time ago, and they're not as potent as they were when they were first made. So it's one of those things that you're never quite sure what the quality. And I would just say, better always fresh is best, right? So if you have a juicer, best to use the juicer to make this bath. And one thing that I can also recommend too is that if you don't want to be making such a small quantity for one bath, you can juice a whole bunch of ginger and then put the ginger juice in an ice cube tray and put it in the freezer, and then every time you're taking your healing bath, you can just grab a few ice cubes of the ginger juice and throw it in the bath. And that way you don't have to be always juicing ginger and cleaning everything out and all that. You can just do like a big batch at a time. All right, so for one healing bath, I would say you would need about 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup of fresh pure ginger juice. it really depends how big your bathtub is. If you have a small bathtub that doesn't use that much water, I would go with more of a fourth a cup of ginger juice. But if you have a larger bathtub, then you can go up to a half a cup of ginger juice. The main thing is that ginger is spicy, okay? So if someone has sensitive skin, I would say you want to go more towards a fourth a cup, and if you have a very small bathtub, even less. And try it out, try it out and see how much you can kind of tolerate. For myself, I can say that I have a pretty large bathtub and I use a half a cup of fresh ginger juice and I'm fine. It doesn't irritate my skin, and in fact it's very soothing on my skin. But I can see if I ended up putting another half a cup into the bathtub, it might start burning. And the one thing too that I have to say too is just avoid splashing it in your eyes because it is spicy. Okay, so the main thing is that you want to kind of experiment a little bit with the quantities you're using, and you can always draw a bath and put half the amount in, get in the bath and see how it is. And if you feel like, oh, this is fine, I can add in more, then pour in a little bit more, okay? And then you'll know what your upper limit is with it. So with the ginger root, this is what it looks like. Okay, this is fresh ginger root. And I would say to juice a half a cup of fresh ginger root, I would say these 2 pieces is adequate. So this is what you're kind of aiming for to get about half a cup of juice. Some juicers might need more ginger root, others might need less. It really just depends how efficient the juicer is and how much juice is inside of it. But usually, if it's nice and fresh, you only need about this much, okay? And so you're going to obviously need a juicer. You're going to need a cutting board just to cut up. I find if you cut up the ginger a little bit, it yields more juice from the juicer. So I always just slice it up a little bit before I juice it. And then the other ingredient in the healing bath is Epsom salt. And this is what the Epsom salt looks like. And if you can't, for some reason, get Epsom salt, you can always use sea salt. Sea salt is also very, very good for bath water as well. So it's a little bit different. It doesn't have the high magnesium content that the Epsom salt has. But I find in general that for me here in Indonesia, it's not always easy to get Epsom salt, and it can be very expensive here, that an alternative I do use is sea salt. So that's something too to consider. If you really want to be making this bath and you don't have any kind of Epsom salt on hand, you can always use sea salt, no problem. Okay, and I would say a fourth a cup is a perfect amount for the bath. Okay, whether it's a big bath or small one, a fourth a cup is good. All right, so let's first get started with actually quickly just juicing the ginger, and then I'll show you how to put the bath together. And here we got the ginger root, so we're just going to slice it up just in the small pieces, just because it'll be much easier to juice. Okay, so now we're going to turn the juicer on, and we're just going to quickly juice the ginger. And here you go. Very, very simple. And here's the fresh ginger juice, a half a cup, and a fourth a cup of Epsom salt. One thing just to mention is that if there's a little bit of pulp from the ginger, no need to strain it out. It's fine to have it in your bath. So now let's go and draw the bath. So here we're drawing the bath. I just shut the water off just so you can hear me while I'm giving you the instructions. But normally you would let the water be drawing, and then you would be putting the ginger juice into the bath, the Epsom salts, and here I've got fresh frangipani flowers from my garden. I like to have baths with fresh flowers, so lucky me. So pretty much what you would be doing is allowing the water to fill up in the bath, and you would keep allowing the water to fill up, and as the water is pouring in, you would, and I'll show you now, you would add the ginger and sprinkle in the Epsom salts. And if you have any fresh flowers, you would add them in as well. So you'd continue filling up the bath, and then you would mix everything in really well, and then you would take your bath. And I would suggest staying in the bathtub for a good 20 minutes. So it can really heat you up, and you can really enjoy just the aroma of the bath. It smells delicious from all that ginger. And just for it to sort of, you can breathe it in to help with congestion, just the wonderful anti-inflammatory effects, everything. So the longer you're in it, the better. And once you're finished with the bath, I don't recommend rinsing off. You do not need to rinse off. You can just get out of the bath and just dry yourself off, okay? And that's it. Super simple. And it's a beautiful bath to take. And I highly, highly, highly recommend that you try it out, especially if right now you're like in North America and it's the colder winter months. This is a perfect bath to be taking to really warm yourself up from the inside out. You'll notice that you're going to feel kind of hot or very warm for a while after the bath, which is just a nice, comforting feeling. So do try this out. And if you are sick, I do recommend taking a bath like this, I would say every day if you can during your sickness. And if you're healthy, you can take this bath a few times a week, no problem. I don't think there's a limit to how many times you can be taking a hot bath with ginger and Epsom salts. The main thing is though, is that you do want to keep hydrated. So either bring a nice glass of water with you into the bath or just make sure you're drinking a lot of water afterwards, because a lot of people notice that after they take a bath like this, they're really thirsty and they're also just really calm and relaxed and ready to go to sleep. So this is a great bath to take at the end of the day when you're about to retire for the night and go to bed. It'll really help to promote a nice, deep, beautiful sleep. All right, so I'm wishing you guys a super fabulous day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.